Hello, you ghouls and goblins, you witches and warlocks and things, and ghosts and things like that. Happy spooky season, and welcome to a very special episode of Laser Show. Special because this is episode 10, folks. We made it to double digits, baby. And for those of you who have been listening since the beginning, thanks. Aw. There's not a lot of you. The numbers continue to plummet. I'm here on my Buzzsprout page here. Last episode, 414 downloads, the lowest so far. I'm learning that I gotta keep them short. I'm gonna keep them short. So I'm gonna talk about. I mean, this is becoming at this point a stand-up podcast. I wish I had more fun stuff to talk about, and maybe someday I will. But this episode and the next few episodes, I'd imagine, are going to be about the Boy with No Brain tour. So this is the biggest tour I've ever put together. I haven't put really a whole lot of tours together at all. Nor should I. But I put together a 27-city run of shows for over the last 3 months of the year. And it's broken into 3 little legs, chunks. And come back to LA in between. But I think even doing 3 separate episodes is not enough. Those are going to be too long. I'm going to break these 27 cities into 5 episodes about this. This is going to be part 1. I think of 5. I think. Maybe more. But I doubt it. So this is going to be part 1, and I'm going to talk about it's really the first 5 cities I did on this tour, which were all in Kansas and Missouri. So this, if you saw my tour poster, you might notice there's a lot of cities that you've never heard of. That's for damn sure. Cities you might not even believe are a place. Nevada, Missouri was the first one. It's spelled like Nevada. It's not Nevada, by the way. The state, you don't say Nevada. They get mad. You gotta say Nevada. But this city, Nevada. I got cities on there like Red Lion, Pennsylvania. Places like that. Peculiar, Missouri. These are the places I'm performing. So if you think to yourself, man, I got a venue or even just a space or something, and I would love for Ryan to perform, but he'll definitely he'll not do it. He'll say no. Hey, shoot your shot, because I'm performing in some really unfortunate environments. But sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's fun. I think overall it's fun. Generally, it's fun. But yeah, there's some weird places, some fun places, and some not so fun places. But it's all about the journey. But the first place I went was a place. I did 5 shows or 5 dates in kind of rural places in Missouri and Kansas, for the most part. And all of these were gotten by this one fella. His name's Dave. I got to talk about Dave, because Dave and his wife, Amanda, they love me so much, and they just want to put together this run of shows in Kansas and Missouri. They live in Peculiar. So I went last year. I don't know if you remember I forget if I even posted about it. I had to have posted about it. But last year I did these shows in the middle of Missouri, and they were, same thing. It was Dave just hit me up on Facebook and was like, big fan. Let's I know a bunch of people that own bars. Let's get a little tour going out here. And he pays me well, and he's super accommodating and drives me everywhere, and he's just the best dude. And he has got the best wife, and they're just, they're fantastic. Last year was a learning experience. First show was in Tonganoxie, and that was the first show I've ever... Tonganoxie, Kansas. Rural biker bar, Kansas. And it was the first show I've ever done in my life that I didn't do any material. And I couldn't. I think I tried 1 or 2 jokes up top, and the crowd was just rowdy and talking, and it just wasn't working. So I got hammered drunk, and I did I guess an hour, over an hour. I don't know, something like that. And I was just shit. And I was saying, everyone, this is when I started going, hey, any drink that anyone brings me on stage, I'll finish it before I get off stage. I think that was the first time I ever did that. And since then, I've done that a bunch of times. So I'm talking about last year. So that was kind of a wild show. Got fucked up, and it was just like a wild biker bar kind of crowd. Then a smaller show in a restaurant, and then a fun show in Peculiar, and that was it. He goes, next year I got to bring you back out, and we got to do like a bigger, better run of shows. And as you know, I am trying to do as much road stuff as really as I can, and I'll truly go wherever. And by the way, I have shows booked in Texas in March, and I got a bunch of people list. I'd post the tour, and a lot of people would say, "No Texas," a lot. It was probably like 4 people. But I'm like, yeah, I already have. I'm gonna be at Dallas Comedy Club in March, and then Austin, like a cider brewery, a cidery, and then Tulsa. So I have those booked, and I'm trying to add to that. So just so you know, so if you're in the area, like, check out where I'm going, and like hit me up if you want to add to those shows. Cause I'm trying to just like hit the road. I don't know how else to make money, but I've been getting by for the last few months on just like comedy alone. But acting is really falling apart. My acting career is really in shambles, and so is my comedy career. But at least I can make a little bit of money doing comedy. Anyway, so Dave reaches out. He goes, "Let's do this thing. Let's run it back. I'm gonna get a bit, bigger, better places, bigger, better cities." And he tried, man. From when he first emailed me the idea to when the shows that we ended up doing were just like a completely different group of cities. Bars are just like tough, and they're annoying and hard to work with, but he just fucking worked so hard and put this run of shows together. And he's like, "Come out." And I came out, and so the hotel was all like booked up, and he already made the reservation, but he called and they said, so we're actually booked up. Sorry, we fucked up, because there was like a log cabin festival or something like that. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think it was a log cabin festival. Dave was saying was in town, and so the hotel was full. So he moved my ass to the Slumber Inn, which is like this motel across from a gas station, and I ate at the gas station every single day. Not at the gas station, but they have a restaurant in the gas station, and the gas station is called Sap Bros. And the restaurant is called Apple Barrel. And I was there for a whole week, and I went to Apple Barrel every single day, and it was delicious. I would order the same meal for the most part, and it would come out in a completely different way every day. It was awesome. Every shift was putting their signature touch on my meals at Apple Barrel. And I got a Sap Bros rewards card. Was never able to use it. I only saved up 23 cents to use at Sap Bros. But hey, knowing me, I'm going to go back there next year and do the same damn thing again. But we head out to Nevada. And when we go to Dave's house, I shower. Shower my ass. And then we go to Nevada, Missouri. Nevada, Missouri is a town that's like, I don't know, it was like an hour away from Peculiar, Missouri, if you know where that is. And I think it's Dave's like sister is a owner or was an owner or family bar, kind of a family business. And it's in the boonies. And we get there and it is a smoke-filled bar. I mean, I got the black lung pop. Everyone was smoking. There wasn't a ton of people there, but people are sitting at the bar watching the local Nevada high school football team on TV. Everyone's doing that and just chilling. There's a fella in a cowboy hat. And smoke fills the room. Everyone's smoking as much as they can as though it were a race. And try to get we set up and I meet some people. Try to get a beer. It's one of those things where it's like awkward to try to get it. I'm trying to stand behind. I couldn't get a spot at the bar. There was all the 10 people in the whole place were all like crowding the bar. No one was like walking around. So I get a beer finally. I met, who I think it was a girlfriend or someone. I met someone and they're just country people and they're a blast. They were telling the craziest stories you've ever heard in your life. God, one guy had a shirt that said something about sluts and hoes. I'll post it. When I post this podcast, I'll post pictures of like things that I mentioned. I can't remember. This guy had a ridiculous shirt that was rude. One girl, one girl told this story. She was like, "We used to live out in the." Someone brought her over. They were like, "Hey, get over here. Tell the story about when you got arrested in the field." And she was like, "Oh, we used to just go out in these fields. And the train track. We were getting to the fields, and the train tracks in the road. We'd use those as a ramp. We'd go over those." And she goes, "One time we got. I swear I think it was 8 seconds of air." And I was like, "You did not get 8. What are you talking about? Your car went off a cliff if you got 8 seconds of air." But it was shit like that. And then these two guys came who were like big fans and didn't live in Nevada. They came from like about an hour even further from there. I think a town called Joplin, which is I think more of like civilization. And they came and they were like fans, and they were like, "Whoa, dude, what is going on? We didn't know that you were performing in places like this." I'm like, "Dude, I perform anywhere. I really will perform anywhere. Don't just shoot your shot." But yeah, this isn't ideal, certainly. But what is? It's really reminiscent. It's really mirroring Tonganoxie at this point. The first show of this run of shows in Kansas and Missouri, MoCan, they call it, is like a very smoky cowboy bar. And it's rowdy. And everyone's wearing shirts that say "Fuck you, Toby" on them. And I finally asked, I meet Toby. Toby was the guy in the cowboy hat. And he's a big personality. And he was nice to me. He's like, "How's it going? I'm Toby." And everyone is wearing these shirts that I just noticed. It took me a minute. I was like, "There's a bunch of "Fuck you, Toby" shirts." And so I asked another guy, I was like, "Why is everyone wearing all these "Fuck you, Toby" shirts?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, we wear these every Friday. It's "Fuck you, Toby" Fridays." I was like, "Oh," and it was a Friday, so I was like, "Oh, shit." I was like, "That's great." And he's like, "Yeah, we all just say "Fuck you, Toby," because he's just like, he's classic Toby. He's always saying something dumb, and we all go "Fuck you, Toby." And I was like, "That's tight. Can I have one of those shirts?" And the bartender goes in the back, and he grabs a shirt, and he comes out. He goes, "This is the last one. We had one more." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." I said, as a joke, I just go, "All right, I earned it." And I don't know why I said that. It's just that sometimes I just say words just to say words. I don't know. I didn't mean anything by it. But then this woman, the woman who was sitting next to Toby, this old woman, I'm going to say probably an 80-year-old woman, was at the bar next to Toby, and she got up, and she was livid. She goes, You didn't earn shit. You gotta say "Fuck you, Toby" for 30 years. Her name was Charlotte. She goes, "You gotta hate Toby. We gotta go through it all with Toby for years. You didn't earn shit." And she was getting really close to me and like in my face. And I was going, "Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right." And she left me alone. And the two fellas that came to see me, one of them brought a bottle of Febreze for me to sign from like my Febreze sketch, which if you haven't seen my Febreze sketch, it is one of my favorites. That's an episode I can do. I can talk about what are my favorite sketches of my own. And then I'll jack off. But I signed a bottle of Febreze. So that was really cool. I think it's really cool when people bring something for me to sign. That feels really badass, especially something that's like a funny thing to, something like that is very sick. Also, if you bring me gifts, I received plenty of gifts on this trip, and I love just being showered with gifts. Give me all the gifts. But anyway, so I do the show. Toby sits right dead ass up front in his cowboy hat. Man, people are smoking. And it seems like they weren't as rowdy as Tonganoxie, but people were just like, it was loose. It was a loosey-goosey kind of show, and I got real drunk. So kind of the same thing. Everyone was smoking cigarettes, though. I smoked a cigarette on stage. I said, "I got to fit in. Someone give me a cigarette." And then someone threw me a cigarette and a lighter from the crowd, and And I smoked a whole cigarette. I don't even smoke. I just thought I thought it'd be kind of fun. And it was. You know what? It was real fun. I felt like Dave Chappelle without the laughs. And oh man, so Toby at one point, Toby is wasted and he's sitting right in the front. At one point, Toby gets up at the beginning of the set. Like he kept running up and just getting on stage, just like putting his arm around me and then just laughing and then going, and then going back to his seat. And I'm like, dude, thank you, yeah. He would just like say something unintelligible and then make himself laugh and come up and then like hug me, and sometimes a joke of mine would make him do that. He was having a blast at the beginning. He was drunk as all hell. And pretty rowdy show. And at one point, Toby, I forget how it happened, but Toby said, and I'm not going to say the word, but Toby stood up and he said, "N-word, please." He stood up and said that. And the room got so quiet. And I was like, oh, Jesus, Toby, I didn't know it was that kind of night. And another guy goes off the side. He goes, "And that's why we say fuck you, Toby." So Toby's always getting into some business. He did apologize later to a woman who had a black son. Or so I heard that he later apologized. So, he's a good man, but Toby. But fuck him. But by the end of my set, he was completely passed out. Same seat, right up front. Just like fell asleep. He was just like fell asleep by the end. It was a long set. I got drunk. People kept giving me drinks, and then you gotta finish them, Someone brought me a blue drink. It was an adios motherfucker, I suppose. And, same thing, got real drunk. I did way too much time. Sometimes I ramble. It's not very good. Sometimes I ramble a bit too long. So I did a bit too long, but it was fun. I did like an hour and 10 minutes. And it's like, that's awesome if it's like good. It'd be awesome to do a really good hour and 10 minutes. I would feel so good about myself. I'd feel like I was really giving the people what they paid for. But my hour and 10 minutes is a lot of just like rambling, and I'm like wasting everyone's time. Yeah, what are you gonna do? People seem to have fun for the most part, at this show at least. And then after, oh my god, I forgot my merch. And so I had merch on this trip, of course my koozies. And then also I brought tour posters. They're 11 by 17, so if you're gonna come see me on this tour, you might want to, just a heads up, you're going to want an 11 by 17 picture frame, because you're going to want one of these tour posters. Actually, that's not true. Really, no one wants the tour posters. Koozies do well. I'm learning merch. People don't like a tour poster. When we did a Dead Kevin tour, we sold so many tour posters. But that was also like a really detailed like tour poster. That was done by Jack's brother, and it was epic. This one's just like fun. It's good, it looks good, but it's just like silly. It's not that in depth. Anyway, no one wants one, is what I've learned. But anyway, I forgot my merch. Then after the show, turns out everyone was just having such a blast. And everyone like trusted me. And there wasn't that like, the newcomer hostility. Not that there was hostility. But it was just, I signed a man's chest, or like his stomach. I signed it. So that's what I think. Hey, bring something for me to sign. I love that. I signed a man's stomach. I honestly could have done really great. This seemed like a kind of crowd that would like a koozie. Maybe not so much a yummy little ass koozie. But I was pretty bummed that I forgot to bring merch. I left it in the hotel room. But it ended up working out, because by the end of this trip, I only had 2 koozies left. I did it perfectly. I brought the exact perfect amount of koozies, plus 2, I guess. So I guess not perfect. Fine. But that wasn't a Veda. Some people got into a fight because, or they were going to get into a fight. We left as they were like starting to get into the fight. But someone made a $500 bet playing pool after. There was people that were playing pool during my whole set too, just in the back. And then we left just a big brawl was about to happen. I don't know, maybe it never did. And I was supposed to send I told the bar I'd send them some koozies. So maybe I'll do that. Or I'll just come back next year. What the hell else am I going to do? So that was Nevada. They call that town Nevada. They don't like it if you call it Nevada. I mean, I don't know. I never did. Oh, by the way, on the way there, we're driving. It's me and Dave and Amanda. And Dave's like, "Oh, we got to stop in Rich Hill." And Amanda's like, "Oh, okay, we got to stop in Rich Hill." I was like, "What's in Rich Hill?" And they were like, "There's something in Rich Hill you got to see. It's on the way down to Nevada from Peculiar." My voice is giving out. I'm gonna sit up straight. I'm gonna drink some water and sit up straight. He goes, "You're gonna see a thing you've never seen like anything like this in your life." He goes, "It's something so big that it's just part of something, but it's so big that it makes you think of the whole of the thing, and you're not even gonna be able to comprehend the magnitude of it." And I say, "All right, Dave, that sounds great." We go to Rich Hill, and they have a thing called Big Mouth, which is not the world's largest, but a very big bucket, like a digger bucket from like one of those big digging trucks. The bucket. Good description, Rye. Very good. But yeah, it's just like it's gigantic. It's 20 feet tall, 20 feet wide. It's the biggest thing you've ever seen in your life, and it was incredible. It was incredible. If you're in Mocan, go to Rich Hill and see Big Mouth. I genuinely do recommend it. So that was on the way to Nevada. The next night, we were supposed to go to Wichita, and it got canceled. And I felt bad because people were reaching out about Wichita. And again, there was like 3 people. But they were like, "It got canceled?" Yeah, the bar lost their fucking liquor license like the week before. So I couldn't go to Wichita. But that was great because Wichita was a 3-hour drive. And I'm glad I didn't have to do that. So instead we did a show in Peculiar. We added a night of Peculiar. And that show in Peculiar, Missouri was at a restaurant called Merle's. And there was just a football team night party or whatever. So we were supposed to do the show outside, but ain't nobody came. So we moved inside and shut this garage door. But the kids kept going outside. So they were going into the restaurant and then going outside to go play their football. They were playing a game of football in the yard. There's a bunch of, I don't know, 7 to 11-year-old kids. No, there was some that was even younger than that. It was like some little kids. And they ran the place. They ran the damn joint. So they were just running in and out during my show. Fine show. People that came, we had to go around the bar and be like, "Come on in." And we had to do like a free show because it was so last minute. But the people that came were great. I actually met a girl whose brother is in the famous picture of Taylor Swift where she's just like, so in the booth, in the suite, like so lovingly, hands clasped together looking at Travis Kelce, that iconic picture of her. Like this girl's brother is in the row right in front of her up against the suites, and he's just standing there, and it's just him. He's just got a beard. And he's just in like every picture that's like being posted around the whole world. And you can see him like they leave his face in there for most of the time when they share that picture around the world. He's just all around the world right now. That girl's brother. Never met the brother, but good for him. Anyway, that was night 3. Night 4, that was night 2. So now night 3, Warrensburg. Oh boy, Warrensburg. Warrensburg, I was told, was a college town. Such a fun town, in fact, that we had to do 2 shows in Warrensburg. This was not Dave's idea. This was the owner of the bar. Dave reached out about doing a show. They know each other. It's like a college town. Yeah, and again, another hour away from Peculiar or something. It's all just doing like a circle. That's the only unit of time that I know is. It's about an hour. And we get there, so we do a 6 p.m. show and like a 9 p.m. show. And the 6 p.m. show, we don't need to do 2 shows. I knew this, but I was like, I don't know, that's crazy. Maybe sometimes places really surprise you, and this place did not surprise me. There's no need to do 2 shows. The 6 o'clock show, there's just no one in there. Like, I mean, there's a bar and then there's a separate area that they do like music shows, nice stage, and seating, and it's a Sunday afternoon. No one's gonna come to a 6 o'clock show, and no one did come to the 6 o'clock show, 6 o'clock Sunday show, except 4 people. I barked. Me and Dave went to the bar across the street to get some food, and I went around the bar as just a sad boy with a flyer in my own hand of my own show with my face on it, going, "Hey, we're doing a show across the street. If you got nothing to do." I was just going, "There's no one in there right now," so I'm like, that's why I'm going around this bar, telling everyone to go in there. I'm sorry to bother you. So that is never fun when you got to walk around a bar with a picture of your own face saying to please go across the street. We're doing a show and there's no one in there. And but anyway, 4 people came. Not from that. They had already bought tickets. These 4 older people came. 4 women, or I so thought. They were sitting in the back of the room. They sat in the back, the last row in the back. It was like a big room. So they were sitting like as far away as they could. These 4, and they were playing like slots. There was like a slot machine. And they just didn't laugh at anything. They were completely silent. Dave went up. The feature, Nick went up. I went up, and we all just spoke for our allotted amount of time at these 4 old women. And they just didn't laugh at anything. They didn't make any real noise. And there was one guy that came. He kind of sat off to the side in the front. He was just at the bar. He just walked over, and he helped a little bit, at least having him there. But yeah, that was towards the end. For the most part, it was just these 3 old ladies. And then at the end, I went over to go say hi, and then one of them was a fella. Just a fella with long hair, old. He was smiling. I remember seeing him smile at my set. But it was really unnecessary to do that. I said, "Dave, we don't got to do this, man. There's 4 people. I don't know if I said that. But I said, "What do you think, man? What's your minimum amount of people?" And he goes, these 4, they bought tickets months ago. And they don't want to go to the 9 o'clock show. They really want to see this show. I said, all right. So he did it. And then but it was really unnecessary. But the 9 o'clock show, I think maybe 12 people came. They were a younger crowd. Maybe they were college. I don't know. They seemed a little older than college. But there was a younger crowd, and they were fun. They were cool. And then we went back. That was it. That was Warrensburg. I was staying in Harrisonville. That was Warrensburg. So then night number 4, back to Peculiar. This is my 2nd time on this trip now doing a show in Peculiar, Missouri. 3rd time in my life. So I'm kind of doing too many shows in Peculiar, one might say. But so this is Dave's and Amanda's spot that they own. It's a cafe. So it's always the same thing as last year. Got the most people out because they're just it's their place. So they get people out, and it's all their friends and stuff. And so I've met these bunch of people multiple times. Again, getting showered with gifts. There's one guy who last year brought me some cards. He brought me a nice Julius Peppers. I'm a Panthers fan, so he has a lot of cards, cards to collect. I almost said playing cards. They're not playing cards. They're cards for collecting. And gave me and so this year he came back and gave me just more cards. More cards. A Luke Kuechly rookie card. I think his name's Keith. I think. Whew. I hope so, because that's what I just said. And that show was cool. Man, that was a guy. So a lot of these shows are being sponsored by just Dave's friends that he knows that have businesses, and they'll donate a little bit of the money just to pay me, I guess. And then they'll be when he posts about it, it'll be sponsored by this. And this show was sponsored by Tree Brothers Unlimited. And I think the guy's name was Mike. I don't know. But he has a business, a limb cutting business, a tree trimming, that's what it's called. A tree trimming business. And he got injured. He's going to be okay, but he was in a wheelchair at the show because he fell out of a tree. He's from 60 feet or something, he said. There's no way I had to have made that up. There's no way he said that. But I asked him, did you fall through the branches? Which is funnier. To fall through a bunch of branches. It sucks both ways, but falling through branches is Probably better for you, but he said, no, I'd cut all those branches. I said, well, now you know, Mike. Next time you got to leave some of the branches. Leave a few branches every few feet in case you fall. And then on the way down, you cut the branches one by one. Huh, I'm a genius. I should have my own tree cutting business, tree trimming business, and put Tree Brothers Unlimited out of business. And it's pronounced unlimited. You got to pronounce the B because they're chopping limbs. So that happened, and that was, then the next night I went to just a trivia night off. Dave also hosts trivia, so I went to trivia, and me and Dave's son were a team. But then we sat next to Dave, who was doing the trivia, and we completely cheated. And Dave was absolutely helping us, and I kept saying, stop helping us, but he couldn't. The damn guy couldn't stop helping his son. God help him, he loves his son so damn much. And anytime we would start to get it right, Dave would nod. I mean, yeah. And he was just, he wouldn't tell us the answers, but he would tell us when we were right, if we were onto something. We pretty much cheated, and so we got second place. We got second place, and this was in the championship, just me and this one guy. So we definitely cheated. We got second place, and we got a $10 Starbucks gift card, which I just gave to the server because I was like, hey, we cheated. I didn't say that, but I was like, hey, we don't drink coffee. Me and Luke, neither of us drink coffee, and also I feel like we were sitting next to the host, so I feel like, and it's the host's son, so I didn't say we cheated, but I was like, it's the host's son. I feel bad about. I don't think we should keep this. And then the last night was in Overland Park, which is a suburb of Kansas City, so that was a real place. And that was a pretty good show, and I met a rabbi at the bar. I went to the bar right before the show. I didn't know where else to go. And I sat at the bar, and I sat next to this woman rabbi, and we were just gabbing like old gals. Me and this. Well, she was my age. She was or younger than me. I think she was about my age. And I was like, what do you do? And she was like, I'm a rabbi. I was like, you're a fucking rabbi? Yeah, she just fucking loves Judaism. And she I just wanted to be a rabbi really bad. I grew up not like that. I just kind of got really into it. And I was so high talking to this rabbi. Oh my God. I got high so Dave and Amanda both smoke weed a bunch, and then a lot of times Amanda would be driving me to the shows, and we would just get so high and talk about the dumbest shit. But I got so high, and I was talking to this goddamn rabbi, and then I lasted so long hanging in there in the conversation, and finally I just couldn't. I kept losing track of what we were talking about, and I was like, I'm fucking high. And then she seemed bummed. Sometimes you gotta just tell the person, I'm sorry, I'm struggling to keep up right now. I am very high. But she stayed for the whole show. She was there because she had a long day. She was at the bar by herself, and I was like, you come here a lot? And she was like, no, just kind of a long day. And then I didn't seem so I was like, oh, sorry. And it seemed like she didn't want to talk about it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should have asked. But I didn't ask. I go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm here for a comedy show. So that's why I'm here. And then she stayed for the whole show. And then after the show, so the show was pretty good. Nothing remarkable to say. Then after the show, there is a drawing. There was a raffle this whole time, folks. There was a raffle at the show, and there was a raffle online for weeks leading up to these shows to win a ticket to go to a Chiefs game with me, Ryan O'Flanagan, famous comedian and heartthrob. That's a pretty big deal. So the drawing was after this show. There was a lot of things that were going on at these shows. Dave was making a drinking game during the shows, and whenever someone points at you or whatever and says a catchphrase, which was "that's not the point" or something, and then everyone has to take a drink, and then there's another one. If you point at someone and say "this guy gets it," he has to stand up and finish his drink. I kept forgetting to do it. I did it one time at the last show, and the guy stood up and chugged his whole drink, and he said, hell yeah, that was the rules that Dave was making. And then selling t-shirts after the show that say, that's not the point, and this guy gets it. So that's another thing that was happening at these shows. But also, there was the raffle. And finally at the end of the last show, we do the raffle to see who gets to go to the game with me, and included with the game is like a whole tailgate. We'll give you a ride. We're gonna go to a tailgate hosted by a guy named Randy, who is Dave's friend, and they work on some bullshit together. I don't know what it is, Dave. I know, what do you work on, city council or whatever? Dave is running for mayor of Peculiar, and he's gonna win. I don't know if he's gonna win, but he's gonna win, I think. I believe in him. And so he's in every like committee in town. He's very involved with the town, and Randy is someone else who's involved in the town in some way. I don't know, but then on the drive to, I think it was on the drive to Warrensburg, Dave goes, "Oh my God, I gotta tell you something." I go, "What?" And he goes, "So I was at one of these committees or something this morning, and we're talking to Randy. Randy was there. Randy's the guy who's hosting the tailgate on Thursday for the Chiefs game." He goes, "We were talking to Randy, and we said, 'Hey, Randy, what do you think about we meet at this time? It'll be Ryan O'Flanagan and Amanda and a couple other people, the winner of the thing.'" And Randy says, allegedly Randy says, "Okay, I'm okay with doing that, but I want to go on record as saying I do not like Ryan O'Flanagan." Can you believe this? Can you believe this, man? Who doesn't like Ryan O'Flanagan? Dave goes, "Why don't you like Ryan O'Flanagan?" And this guy Randy says, "Well, first of all, I don't like that everyone calls him by his first and last name. Everyone's always like, Ryan O'Flanagan." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, because you don't know who I am. You can't just say Ryan. You don't know." What a fool. What a foolish thing to not like a person for. But then, and I think Dave pushed him on it and was like, "Well, that's not a good reason not to like someone." And then he says, "Fine. You know what I don't like? I feel like I watched all of his videos. I think he said he watched like almost all of my videos." I'm like, "No, you didn't. But also, you must like me a little bit if you watched like a bunch of my videos." Like, what? I've never watched. How many videos can you possibly watch? He must have watched, I think, a couple of. And he thinks that I only have a couple. This motherfucker. I don't know. We'll never know. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But anyway, so he goes, I watched a bunch of his videos, and in almost every video, he's got to make fun of God in some way. And Randy's a very religious man. So much so that every Sunday he doesn't go to church. He has a tailgate at the Chiefs game. But he's very religious, apparently. And he doesn't like that I make fun of God in all of my... When do I ever make fun of God? I have a couple of sketches where I say gob. That's just me like pronouncing things wrong. I don't know if sketches I have where I like make fun of God. A couple like church sketches. They're priest sketch. I guess there's a couple where I don't make fun of it. I'm just like play like an idiot. But Randy doesn't get it. Randy doesn't think I'm funny. He doesn't get the humor of my sketches. So I wouldn't have liked him anyway. But anyway, that we go to the game. It's me. Oh, so we do a drawing on Facebook Live. We do a drawing of who gets to go to a game, and then who wins a couple jerseys. Those are some other prizes. And the girl that won was actually at the bar at the time, and she was like, "That's me." And she came to the show last year and at that small restaurant show. So she was like a fan, or at least just like knew who I was. So that was cool. Because anyone can enter this thing. $5 for a ticket, or 5 for 20, and you can just go to the game with me, and I'm not gonna know who you are. And there's all these randos, no one crazy, but yeah, I was glad it was her. And so it was me and that girl named Kennedy, and then Amanda, and this other guy Chris, who owns a collectibles and memorabilia shop, and he was sponsoring the last show, and he drove us. The four of us went, and we got there to go see Randy, and I'm ready to kick Randy's ass. Now, I was gonna try to make Randy like me. I was gonna get on Randy's good side, and I'm gonna get him to admit that there is no God. That was my goal with Randy. But we get there at like 5:30 for the 7:00 game, and he's texting with Chris. He's going, we're packing up, we're going in already. I hate going in this early, he said. So it seems like it wasn't his idea. So it seemed like Randy's not in charge of his own goddamn tailgate. So it seems like Randy, maybe, ain't shit. But we go into the game and it's fun and it's racist and everyone's doing the tomahawk chop and then everyone leaves the game and they do this and they walk around the circular tunnel going down and they go oh stuff like that and it's a blast. If you just forget that it's racist, just have your fun. Great to see people coming together. And they played the Broncos. Oh, these poor guys behind us. There was these Broncos fans behind us. And Chris was a big Chiefs fan, and he's a real big shit talker. And I thought he was going to make these boys cry. He wouldn't leave them alone. He was just giving it to them the whole game. And then they had one friend who was a Chiefs fan, and he had to tell Chris, he goes, hey, man, they're my friends. You go easy on them. And he's like, all right. But Jeepers Creepers, I kept turning around and being like, I'm a Panthers fan, so I know, we're the worst, so I was just helping as much as I could. And game was fine. Taylor Swift was there. I could not see her. We could not see her from where we were. But I hear she was there. So that's what the news was saying. And then Travis Kelce had a great game and really helped me win the week in fantasy. And that was my first 5 shows. So that's part 1 of 5 parts I reckon I'm going to do. That was the Dave portion. Thank you, Dave. I know you're going to listen to this shit. Dave said I could say anything I wanted to say. I asked Dave, is there anything, Dave and Amanda, I said, is there anything you guys don't want me to put on the podcast? They're like, no. So that was that. So that was the first 5 shows of this tour were all Dave. So thank you, Dave. The MoCan Comedy Tour. Thank you for those first 5 shows. And now coming up on episode 11 of Laser Show, The Boy with No Brain, Part 2. I go to Memphis, and I have a harrowing experience in Memphis. I go over to Huntsville and perform for I started in St. Charles. First I go to St. Charles, and that was fun. And then I went to Memphis, had a harrowing experience. And then I went to Huntsville, Alabama, and no one came. And then I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and that was pretty cool. And so that's going to be on the next episode. If you can help me out with any road dates, hit me up. I'm willing to go anywhere. I'm going to be in Texas and Oklahoma in March. Thanks for listening. And I'll put out another episode, I reckon, in probably like a week or something. All right, see you later.